All right, in this video I'm going to cover my new to me and new SRX4 Gen 3 build. This build is for a 13.5, not running mod, but 13.5 is a real competitive class here in Southern California, as well as about as much motor as I think I can handle right now. So I'll cover electronics real quick. We have a McLaren 13.5 V3 motor, Sanwa Airtronics RX41 that I'm going to run on the new M17. This is the McLaren Pico 100 amp, the older 100 amp Speedo. They have their newer one out, but this is what I have right now. A Sanwa PGS LH shorty servo. And then I also have, for battery wise, I'm running a Macklin 6100 shorty. So first thing I did different from the kit is shock oil. The kit recommends 500 CST. I went to a 350. Just the 500 is super thick. That just, I think, is just too much. It was very, I did fill shocks up with the 500. I ran it up and down the street, you know, checked them. It was just too stiff. Wasn't very responsive. The next deviation from the kit setup is on all the pills. I have him 0.5 down. So it's, or 0.5 upside down. So everything is on the blocks a little bit lower, which will give you a little bit more ride height. The shock positions are all the same. I have done this where I get I think it's an 18 or a 20 mil grub screw. I run that into the arm in the position, and then I use a lock nut to hold it on. The screws, it comes with these larger head captured screws, but those I find they strip out when you're using a 2.5 or 2 mil on them. They just strip out. So I like running these. I run them on every position that I can. So on the 2-wheel, I run them in the rear. You can see I have them on the rear. Just, I think, makes everything simpler and more reliable. You don't have to worry about the screw backing out. You have a larger nut so that you can get a 5.5 on there. So in the back, just wing buttons. I like the wing buttons over the plastic ones. Hubs, stock positions. I did raise these up to the 1 mil position. So essentially you take the kit ones and you flip them upside down, and then you get the little higher ride height. Differential inserts. I have them. It is the 1 on the bottom, 3 on the top, front and rear. That's going to lower the differential in the chassis and give you a straight driveline axle when you're at higher ride heights. So I need to get at the low shock tower just to get the ride height. I'm trying to run 20 mil and I can barely get to 20 mil. I'm about 19 and a half in the rear, and then I can get to 20 in the front. But again, you see you run out of shock collar on the stock blue springs. I do have more springs, but I think the balance is fine with the blue and the green, but I don't have the ride height that I would like. So chances are I'll get the low rise shock tower, which has the upper positions a little bit lower, which gives you more droop and will give you more ride height for the same spring. Inside, nothing special. Stock oils for the kit. I'm running 2476. I believe it comes with an 80 or an 86, but I had the 78 spur. 24. Gonna be running it on clay this weekend, so I wanted to have something more agreeable. If you saw my previous video, I did cover some Camber Links information. These were all pretty tight, but I think these are so much better than the older ball cups and ball studs that Serpent was using on the 10 scale. These are super awesome. I like them. They do need to wear in, but I think they are an improvement. Otherwise, it's, for the most part, everything is stock as it comes out of the kit. Stock wing, X's, everything else is stock. Camber links, camber link length, the positions for the Ackerman arms, all that. So that's my build. My impressions of the build, it's just like all the other kits. I think the Gen 3, the 2-wheel and this, are an improvement on the overall quality of the parts in the kit. They are very tight. Everything fits well. I didn't have any issues with the assembly. There were, all the screws were in the right bags, all the parts were in the right bags. Everything mounted the same. Sway bars, everything was exactly as it was on the Gen 3 buggy. Everything fits. So I really like the kit. Build was real easy. Only spare parts I got were for the steering rack, and then I believe I got C-hubs and spindles, I guess, whatever they are. Everything else is pretty simple. If you have the rear diff stuff, you're good to go. Because it's the same rear gearbox as the Gen 3 2-wheel drive, if you want, you can run the narrower idler top shaft. I don't think you can run the same top shaft, but you can run the lower one because the top shaft is different. It accommodates the pressure, or the I guess your front and rear bias. It doesn't come with a lockout. It comes with a thrust bearing style, kind of like a slipper style, to transfer the power from the rear to the front. I do like this setup better, where your motor pinion turns a spur gear, which is connected straight to your gearbox. On the previous one, your pinion turned to spur, the spur turned the belt, and that belt was connected to the rear transmission. Where on here, it's connected straight into the gearbox. So now you're using a belt to transfer the power forward. On the first SRX4, you're using a belt to transfer power to the rear and to the front. So in this buggy, I think it's a much better design. You get a lot more room because you don't have the larger, I guess, center shaft or center tower structure that you have running through the middle. So overall, I think this is a better build. One thing is I cannot get the plastic lower shock caps to not leak. I've tried everything, green, shock lube, O-ring grease, all that kind of stuff. I think these are the best right here, the aluminum shock caps, the lower shock caps. So I only have 2 sets, one set on my 2-wheel and a set on this, and these leak the least. So that's why I run these. All I do is, when I build a set of shocks, is I'll get the Delrin insert, a new one for a new shock. So all I do is swap them. Whenever I go back to another kit, like on here, plastics, if another kit was gonna come out, I would just take the caps off, put the new Delrin inserts, and move them to the new kit. So overall, I think the Gen 3 SRX4 is a much better car. Everything looks a lot more robust, feels better, feels just as stiff. I think this top deck is a lot better than the fully enclosed belt. Makes changing your front differential a lot easier. The rear gearbox is just like the Gen 3, so it's real easy. So overall, I think this is an improvement. If you're running the SDX4 Evo or even the SRX4, I recommend getting a hold of one of these, trying it. It is smoother, it is tighter, all the parts fit really well. Good parts interchangeability now with the 2-wheel drive, now that the rear end is almost exactly the same. So those are my thoughts. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I will get to them when able. But thank you for watching.